Does it to me all over again.
It does. Amazing Grace, and it's amazing that any film ever gets made.
7 years
That's
waiting
right.
for this, but in God's perfect time.
In His time.
In Black History Month.
Indeed.
On a very special anniversary.
The anniversary was the 200th anniversary of the ending of the slave trade in England, because Wilberforce then worked another 26 years to end slavery itself. And do you know, he's hardly found in American textbooks. It's remarkable, but Abraham Lincoln based all of his emancipation work in America, ending slavery, on what William Wilberforce had done.
No Oscar for this movie, but a standing ovation.
Standing ovation.
I learned in Christian Living, a wonderful article tells me you had a standing ovation in British Parliament.
Oh my, that was a thrill of a lifetime and an honor to be before that august body, presenting Amazing Grace, and then to see the members of the House of Lords in tears, celebrating this incredible milestone that changed the lives. And it was done by one man who, together with God, knew he could change the world. And I poured out my heart. I wasn't intending to speak, but God did speak, and the tears flowed, and I expressed our appreciation to the British, who so much caused all of this to happen through one man, and God.
You have done so many movies, many themes. We'll be talking about some of them, but you are championing some of the greats that, whose stories might not be.
It's all about, yes, it's all about great storytelling. It's like real estate: location, 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 story, story, story. The three most important elements of making a film. No matter what is there, the story must be central. It must be compelling. And there's a definition of entertainment you might enjoy. It comes from the Greek. Entertainment, to inform with delight. That's a good one. To inform with delight.
Wow, I think we'd have to eliminate an awful lot of what's coming out of Hollywood under that definition, Ken. Wilberforce was not the man you were going for. You wanted to tell the story of John Newton.
Right, I started to tell the story of John Newton, and Philip Anschutz, head of Walden Media, said, but Ken, William Wilberforce's story is even maybe perhaps more critical, because he not only fought to end slavery, his second great obsession was to have a reform of manners, morals, decency, and a return to civility. Not a bad idea. And we can all start on the way home. Let's get rid of road rage. A little bit of civility here, folks.
Well, the man who wrote those beautiful words to Amazing Grace, John Newton, tomorrow I just have to show my favorite moment with John Newton.
We will.
Albert Finney playing the role. That's tomorrow. But I've indulged myself, with your permission, in my own little Oscar moment for each of the three programs. Ken's here tomorrow and Thursday as well.
What a joy.
And first one, March 29th, 1982. I was in Scotland visiting an aunt while attending Cape Marie Bible School in the north of England. She had, thankfully, a tiny TV. The reception wasn't very good, Ken, but it did allow me to see the Academy Awards ceremony, which I try to catch every year.
That was a good one.
The wonderful Vangelis theme brought goosebumps. I hadn't seen the movie yet. I knew about it, but 4 times for that Best Picture of 1981, I heard the Chariots of Fire theme. 7 nominations. What a God victory, and the scripture that I'm sure is planted in our hearts. The life message of Olympian Eric Liddell. He who honors me, I will honor. God
and the
says.
joy of that story is the rest of the story is yet to be told.
And guess who's going to finally
We are going to do
tell
the
it.
sequel, the rest of the story to Chariots of Fire. And the sequel is going to be, it's really the rest of the story will be titled With Wings as Eagles, right from Isaiah.
You know, Ken, we met by phone years ago.
We did.
Over this very project. How many years ago? How many years have you been waiting to do this one?
Well, this one probably has been about 10 or 12 years, and I'm 102, but there's a 19-year-old running around inside with all of these wonderful stories to tell. This one is right at the top of the list, because we find out what Eric Liddell did when he made a decision to serve God, stop his celebrity running, go to China, be with his father, and teach in his school with 1,000 kids. And of course, as he is there and becomes married and children, the drums of war beat, and the Japanese attack that peninsula of China, and suddenly the school is a concentration camp with a martinet commandant, head of the camp, and he finds out he has Eric Liddell, the world champion, in his camp, and he's determined to run a race and beat him. Stay tuned for the rest of the story.
Doesn't this sound like a great story? You know, the world thinks the story ended with an Olympic champion burying his life in China as a prisoner with a brain tumor.
But it had just begun.
It was really, and you know, I've met some of the people who were influenced as little children.
They were.
David Michelle, who headed up Overseas
and
Missionary
we miss him
Fellowship.
very much.
Pearl S. Buck was in that prisoner of war camp.
Indeed.
How many leaders were impacted by a surrogate dad named Eric Liddell?
Many, many, and the good thing is that indeed there was a young man who was young and left it and managed to get back to the States and then joined the American Army and paratroopers and came back several years later to paratroop into the camp and liberate the entire group that was imprisoned. God working in such miraculous ways, Myra.
And when will we see this one?
Soon.
This is a man with persevering faith. Tomorrow we'll talk about Christy.
We will.
And I think about that project most when I think about your affinity to William Wilberforce, a man who, how many years did he campaign for his bill?
His first one was the 20 years and then 26. They were like rebels. He and William Pitt, the younger Prime Minister of England, together did that.